Hi guys, welcome to The Only Way is Ghana. It's Larissa Queer here. This is my friend Joanna, who's recently been away for 2 years, and I thought it would be really interesting to speak to her so you guys can get insight into someone that has moved away, just in case you guys are thinking of doing it yourself. So I'm just going to have a discussion with her and answer some questions, and I hope you guys find it useful. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Thanks. So hi Joanna, how are you?
I'm fine, very good.
Good. Can you tell us where you went and what you went to do?
Okay, I went to Japan in 2010 to teach English. Yeah, so that's me.
Okay, and how did you find out about that opportunity? Because that sounds really interesting.
After my degree, it was either I went to teach in a secondary school in the UK or just find some sort of teaching experience. And I've always had a desire to travel abroad, so I was searching the internet for opportunities to teach abroad. I did an introductory TEFL course, and there was an option to teach in Japan or Spain, and I chose Japan.
What made you leave the UK? Was there anything that made you leave the UK to go and teach somewhere else? Because you could have taught in the UK.
I've always wanted to. So I've always enjoyed travelling, and every time I've been abroad I've said I wanted to live abroad, but I knew I needed some sort of job that would keep me going in another country. I needed qualifications, so I guess it kind of came to me after I did a degree that actually I've got teaching qualifications, I'll be able to use that abroad. So I just wanted that experience and to get out of my comfort zone in London, because teaching's a long-term career. So I could kind of start that later on rather than immediately.
And the process, was it a long process, or did you kind of decide quite quickly that, yeah, I'm going to go away, or was it quite a long thought process?
I guess it was quite quick, because I didn't want to talk myself out of it. Because as soon as I thought, actually, I can do this and it's possible, then all those negative thoughts came into my mind. So I think within graduating in May and I left in May, within a few months I went, so I guess it was quite quick. But there was a lot of thought.
But that's a good idea, because if you have negative thoughts in your head, you can talk yourself out of anything. And I have that all the time, even wanting to go to Ghana. I read things and I see things and I'm like, actually, maybe not, but I understand.
It's daunting, and then on top of that, people could also talk you out. So
Okay, how important do you think it is for someone to have a clear plan of what it is that they want to do in the other country, or can they kind of just go with the flow?
Good question. To be honest, when I went to Japan, I didn't know a whole lot about Japan. Like, I bought a couple of books to prepare me, but I guess that kind of worked in my favour because I didn't have any expectations. But going to Japan wasn't a whim. I knew it had to have some sort of effect or benefit on my life. So long term, I know that I've got teaching experience in Japan under my belt. But once you're in that country, there's other things you can do. Like, I had colleagues who went on to teach for other companies or who moved to other cities. But that just wasn't my plan.
How did your friends and family react to the decision once you'd made it?
They were all really supportive and happy. There was the few who weren't too sure, because Japan's known for having earthquakes and like natural disasters, and Japan had an earthquake in, I think, February.
Before you went?
Yeah, so that was on people's minds, but generally they were supportive, so that was good for me.
So if you didn't have their support, would you still have gone?
I think I would have.
Really?
Yeah, I just it was something I needed to accomplish now rather than later on, so I'd have gone. And in my head I knew if it didn't work I can always come back. Hang my head in shame, but I can come back. So.
Well, it's not really hang your head in shame, because you've gone, you've experienced it, you've done it. You haven't said that you're going to do it and haven't done it. And I think the things that we don't do are the stuff that we regret more. So even if you went and you had a rubbish time, at least you can say you've done it.
Yeah.
Exactly. What type of documentation did you need to go to Japan and work?
Valid passport.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
And just the visa. And the visa process was pretty straightforward, because the company has a branch in London, so they basically were helping me and guiding me through it. So whenever they would ask me to provide them documents, I gave it to them, went to the High Commission, pretty straightforward. So it was all done within a few months, really. They wanted proof of my qualifications.
Okay.
And that was basically it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you cope with the cultural change and the language barrier?
Oh gosh. that was difficult. The language barrier was my biggest difficulty because it limited my experience a bit. Like I can communicate with people on a basic level, so I could never get in depth with people. I could get about my daily life, saying a few words of vocabulary. I can't string a sentence together. But most of my acquaintances and friends could speak English well, so.
Do they speak English there? Do you need to speak Japanese, or can you get away with speaking English?
You need some basic Japanese,
okay.
Because where I was in the countryside, most of them do not speak English. If you're in a big city like Tokyo or Osaka, maybe you can get away with English, but I think you need to know the minimum to just survive.
I'm sure you guys want to know. So can you speak Japanese? Can you say something for us?
Gosh. Watashi wa Joanna desu. I am Joanna.
Cool. No, that's fine. Thank you. Okay. How did you cope with your family and friends not being so close? Because how long is the flight?
14 hours.
14 hours.
Yeah.
That's quite far.
So you have to make a decision whether you're coming back or not, because it's a long flight. Thank God for technology. Skype, Viber, emails. Like, I'm not sure if I can do it before we had all this technology.
Yeah.
Because you're just writing letters back and forth. And you don't know when they're going to receive it. But there was a kind of closeness with people, because I could still send a WhatsApp message and it's received instantly. So that's really helpful.
Well, that's how I communicate with a lot of my friends here anyway.
Exactly.
So being in another country wouldn't be that much different.
Exactly.
Okay, so would you advise people that are moving away to bring their own food, or would you just say kind of just go and try and get in with the culture there and eat their food?
I bought loads of food, but it was mainly seasoning.
Okay.
It depends where you're going. Like Japan is different foods compared to us. So if I'm at home and I'm cooking, I like spicy food, so I bought loads of spices with me, and a few homely things that you need, like ribena. I love supermalt. Took supermalt, oats. There are just certain things you can't get there.
Non-perishable stuff as well that
exactly,
you can kind of make up. Okay, and how did you manage to pack your life into a few suitcases or a few boxes and go with that?
That was difficult, because you need to be really selective. But I think I took my whole life with me. I took the basics with me on my journey, and then I had the rest shipped to me. But that was also a bit difficult, because there were certain items I couldn't take, or they needed to sign for it and check exactly what they were. But hair products was important, makeup was important. The clothes I can get out there, clothes and shoes and accessories, not so important. But the rest I thought was important.
Would you say the prices there were quite reasonable?
Japan's quite expensive, but London's expensive as well.
Yeah.
Food is expensive, and it's in smaller portions.
And obviously there's a difference between Japan and China, isn't it? Because everyone goes to China for cheap stuff.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
There's difference.
There's a big difference.
Okay.
The stuff's bought from China to Japan, and then the price is higher. So.
Okay. What made you return to the UK then?
I was getting homesick, and it was more stronger in the last year of being there. And before I went to Japan, I just qualified as a newly qualified teacher, so I need to complete my first year of teaching.
Okay, in the UK, obviously, to get the qualification. Okay. Would you recommend your experience to anyone else? Listen out, guys. Should recommend it?
Definitely not. No, I'm joking. Yes, if you've got that desire to go abroad, do it now whilst you're young, rather than later on in life. Because the older you get, you have your habits, and it just makes it more difficult to be open to the experience. So when you're young, you're free, carefree, and willing to try every and anything. So do it whilst you can. And before you have more responsibilities as well.
Yeah, like kids and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any tips or advice that you'd give to anyone that is thinking of doing the same?
Yep. Research about the country you're going to visit. Be open to the country and the culture. Don't go abroad with the mind that, oh, well, in the UK we do it like this, or you do
I
things.
have that, and I get so frustrated with the way Ghana operates at certain times. So
you just need to go and just accept that's the way of doing things. People getting by with it, and you find expats in that country, but try also to associate with the real people there, like the real Japanese people, the real Ghanaians there, and you get a fuller experience.
Did you find any issues with the ones that were there about trust? Because I understand Japan's completely different to Africa and Ghana, where there is, you know, there is a big trust issue. You don't know who you can trust, who's out to scam you. Did you feel any of that when you was in Japan? Well,
the first thing he said is like Japanese people, like one of the most friendliest people in the world probably, and they're very hospitable. But I only have like a close circuit of friends. So when I went to Japan, again, there was only like a handful of people who I built really strong relationships with, and I could trust them and I could rely on them, and they helped me out a lot, especially like with the language. And things like maybe paying a bill which is written in kanji or hiragana, going places, going to restaurants, and the menus written in the language. So there were many people I could associate with, and I did to an extent, but I had really close friends as well, so I was lucky in that sense.
That's always good. Okay, what was a high point and what was a low point for you being in Japan?
The high point was the rest going out. Just Japan put so much effort into their food, and it's about presentation and texture, and like the sushi as well. It's the first time I experienced eating sushi.
Oh,
I never had it.
Obviously, I've never had it there. Yeah.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. First time I had sushi was in Japan. Just the food is so different. That's the thing. But I was open to it, and the more I stayed, I was craving like more Japanese food.
Oh, that's good.
The low point, I guess, was adapting to the culture, especially the working culture. I worked alongside Japanese teachers, and it was a predominantly Japanese company, even though there was loads of expats teaching. You just have to get your head around the way people think and the way they conduct themselves, and never get too complacent. As much as I felt comfortable with some people I worked with, you still have to keep that level of professionalism, and their professionalism is different from what we call professionalism here.
In what way? Their timekeeping is really...
Timekeeping, but more so having a front, like always showing your happy side, always being positive, never complaining, even if you're going through something difficult or you're feeling sad or not too good about yourself. You can't display that to someone else. You need to keep that front on. Yeah, keep that front, and when you're greeting parents as well. So it takes a lot of energy, because sometimes you're just so tired and depleted. But as soon as you see someone, it's just like, let's be professional, let's be happy. Yeah.
Would you say that was good or bad thing then?
It's good because I can
don't bore me with your don't bring me down today. Exactly.
Yeah, it's good
because sometimes you'll talk to someone and you're like, how are you? And say, oh God, this, that. I just asked how you were. So that's
I'm fine,
good.
Yeah. Just put the front on. When people ask you how you are, I don't think they actually want to find
they
out
don't.
my story.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a good front to have.
Okay. Last question is, what is next for you? You know, you're back now. What's next for Joanna?
Find a teaching job in the UK, and as you know, I just returned from Ghana, so I've got my.
Well, they don't know.
So. Well, when I came back from Japan, I went to Ghana for a month. It was supposed to be 2 weeks, but I enjoyed it so much.
Jet setter.
Yeah. Well, you know. So Ghana opened up my eyes to a lot of things, but presently I'm gonna be teaching in the UK.
Because you have to get that under your belt. If you don't do that,
and the longer I leave it, the more unappealing I'm going to be.
But exactly, going out and seeing the world and seeing there's other stuff out there. But with teaching, it is a 5-year window, isn't it? To do?
I think it is 5 years, so yeah, I need to do it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. And obviously, we want to wish you good luck with everything that you're doing. And thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me.
Thank you.
All right, then. Bye, guys. Thanks. Any questions, do ask.